My name is Joshelle Anderson. Thank you for joining me today. I am your host and owner of Just a Little Business LLC, where we offer professional resume writing, interview techniques, business plan writing, LLC setup, leadership and career development, but most importantly, we offer administrative support and coaching to small businesses and individuals. If you require any of these services, please contact me at 469 340 3208. We can't wait to help take your business to the next level. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I am Joshelle Anderson, your host, and my special guest today is Miss Autumn Osborne, the Houston Realtor. Hey, Autumn, how are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, why don't you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Okay, great. I'm Autumn Osborne. I am the Houston Realtor. I'm a native Houstonian. I have been an agent for 9.5 years, and I enjoy what I do, and I help buyers, sellers, investors. I'm an agent, and I love helping buyers, sellers, and investors.
That's awesome. So I noticed on your profile that you went from a small business officer at Washington Mutual to a realtor. How'd that happen?
Well, great. Thanks for asking. Actually, it was kind of in a more of a not so positive manner. My parents passed away. One was in 2008, which was my mother, and then my father in 2011. And as a result of that, I was managing both of their estates. My mother had two homes and my father had one. So I kept my mom's home for 10 years, and then I had tenants in that house, and then I sold my mother's other house, and then I had my father's house that I was responsible for also. So in 2011, a couple of months after he passed, I went and decided to find out what I needed to do to become an agent, and that's how I moved over. That's how I made the crossover.
So it appears from what I read on your website that it was a good crossover, that it
That's
was very
correct.
beneficial to you.
Exactly. I love working with customers.
Okay. As a consumer, why should I hire you as my realtor?
Well, and that's a good question because I mean, there's here in Houston, there's 40,000 agents. So what sets me aside from others? A couple of things. One, I take care of my clients from the beginning all the way to the end. So I tell them up front, I'm going to be with you all the way through this process. I'm passionate about my clients. I'm passionate about the homes that they select and choose. I like being involved. I like being a part of the process. I like being their advocate. I like holding their hands. I like coaching. All the things that all of my strengths, I'm able to utilize them with my clients. So I enjoy not only what I do, but I enjoy helping people with home ownership. So why me? I'm your advocate. I'm your realtor. I'm your friend. I'm your coach. And I like to see you make that touchdown.
All
So
right, now I like
that's
that.
why.
Now I like that. Not at the 1 yard line. That's when we really need you.
Yes, yes.
So on your website, it states that you are a platinum agent. What does that mean?
Okay, so as a platinum agent, you have two types. There's your regular agent who receives standard services, and then there's the platinum agent. As a platinum agent, one of the things that I like the most is when you go to the website, you'll see my client experience rating. So every transaction I touch, they always have to hear from the buyer or the seller. What was their experience? So my testimonials are out there on the website. Another key asset to being a platinum agent is I do have my own website. Also, I'm able to receive leads online. People can chat with me online. There's other things as a platinum agent that makes me, I can't forget the Facebook post. Now, sometimes I go in through the hard portal to post my ads, but then a lot of times I do my own posting on my own. But if I were really letting the services assist me, I could do more posting through HAR versus doing it directly on Facebook myself. So there's a lot of more services that I receive as a platinum agent. I just don't want to use my full 10 minutes talking about why I'm platinum.
Okay. So why do you specialize in first-time homeowners and veterans?
Okay, so first time homeowners, they don't know the process. So it's nothing better than having a blank paper. So
Mhm.
I'm their teacher, I'm their mentor, I'm the one showing them everything that they need to know. Getting them pre-approved, then going to look for the home. Then once we're looking for homes and they're choosing the one that they like, then I start the contract. Then I tell them where to sign. So it's like I'm still holding. I like I'm able to use my leadership skills throughout the whole process. So that's why I like first time home buyers, because they truly, truly do need your help. Now, it's not that I don't like a second time home buyer or third time, but first time home buyers, they're special because they just don't know the process and they need help throughout the process. Now, veterans, well, it's a way of me providing service back to them. After they've served our country and given so much, I like to give back. So I love my veterans. Now,
That's good.
don't tell nobody I love everybody, but I love my veterans and I love my first time home buyers.
Okay. I
Mhm.
won't tell anybody that.
Okay, please don't.
So if I am a first-time home buyer, what things do I need to have in place before I ever come to you?
Okay, so because a lot of times people think they need to be dressed up and ready to go a certain way, they could really come to me not knowing at all. Because that's my job to tell them which bucket to dig into, what to do. So, but if you kind of have done a little homework and you feel like you're ready, you make that phone call to me. And then I'm asked, here are the questions I'm going to ask. I'm going to say, so Joshelle, are you already pre-approved? You'll say yes or no. If you have not been pre-approved, then I'm going to share with you that we have to know the exact amount so I can know which homes to send your way via email. So as I'm getting you started in the process, in motion, you more or less going to follow my lead, but I'm giving you things to do. And as you're checking off those things on your checklist, you're moving through the process. So I want to emphasize that you do not have to necessarily have everything in order. And a matter of fact, I like to talk to the people who don't feel like they're ready to buy, because when are you ready? Or how do you know when you're ready? Only
Mhm.
a realtor can tell you that.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So what do you personally guarantee every customer that you work with? I know you can't guarantee that they're going to get the home. I know you can't guarantee they're going to get the loan. But as far as your customer service, what do you
Mhm.
guarantee?
Yeah, so from a customer service standpoint, I think it's just really key for someone to know, because this is a huge purchase. This is like right outside of someone having a baby. Someone deciding they're married and they're going to have their first baby. So purchasing a home is the equivalent. So I promise that I'm going to be with you from the very beginning all the way to the end. I don't care what types of bumps, bruises, or whatever. At the end, I'm still right there with you. So that's one thing I'm a promise to you. Second is, I'm going to always work with integrity. I'm going to tell you things you may not want to know about the home or about the contract or about the negotiating that I'm doing. But they have to know some things that are going on behind the scene so that they'll understand why it might take me a day or two before I come back to them with the final answer. So I like for them to know what I'm doing throughout the process. So I'm sharing, I'm mentoring, coaching, and again, who leaves when you birth the baby? Do you just leave that baby behind at the hospital? No, you have to take them home, and there's things you have to do once you get home. So I'm there all the way until we get to that closing table. And I love a party, and all the parties take place at the closing table.
Well, that's a good thing. As a person who's bought multiple homes, I can tell you there is some pain going through that process. So I would be happy to have someone like you holding my hand.
Great, great. And sometimes one transaction may not look like the next one. And
Mhm.
things change as times change. So, again, like I said, second time home buyers and third empty nesters and what have you, I love them all the same, because again, I still have to share with them the process, and I have to make sure I understand what their needs are so I can make a perfect match and we can all be happy.
Okay. So why is it such a good time right now? Or is it a good time right
Oh,
now?
yes, ma'am. Great question. So, yes, this is the time. And the reason why, interest rates. So interest rates are at an all-time low. You can buy so much more home right now versus when the rates go up. So individuals who need to do credit repair, individuals who need to save, if you've been wanting to buy a home for the last 3 to 5 years and you haven't done it yet, 2021, this is your year.
Okay.
So, and again, all you need is the coaching to get the things you need in place so that you can purchase this year.
Okay. Good
All
one.
things are possible.
Okay. What is the average time from start to finish in your experience? Does it take a person to purchase a home?
Okay, so once they're under contract, we'll be closing within 30 to 40 days. So prior to that 30 to 40 days, you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks of showing houses, at the most 4 weeks, but generally speaking, I have you under a contract within 2 to 3 weeks because and this is with weekend showing or weekday showing, but primarily individuals are available on the weekend. So it's about putting in front of that client the homes that they have described to me. And then once I email them and they select them, then I get them scheduled and we go out and we go looking and they see their home. It's already there.
So, since we're talking about the client's expectations,
Mhm.
how important is it to you to get your job done that a client is very clear about what they want, what they're looking for, the amount they're willing to spend, and what they can handle in their budget?
That's a great question. So sometimes, for example, someone may say, I only want to look at 2 stories and I want a 4 bedroom with 2.5 baths and I want a large backyard. Well, they may, and I'll send them the 2 stories with the 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath with large backyards. Well, I may see a home that's perfect for them, but maybe that backyard is not that large, but everything else about that home looks, I mean, just it's just gleaning. So I'll send it to them anyway in their list of homes so that they can review it. Not that I'm being inconsiderate to what their requests were, but a lot of times if I see something that I really like and I think my client might like, I present it to them. So things may change. Your list may look like ABCD when we get started, but sometimes as we get out into the field and we go and look, my clients see things, different things, and they may flex on a 2 story and all of a sudden want to just look at 1 stories.
Mhm.
So things change, and as they change, as their ideas or requests change, so do I. So flexibility is really, really key.
Okay. So being a homeowner is a major decision.
Hmm.
So do you find that your clients are mature and responsible enough, or do you go through a list of things that it's not just owning a home? You need to be prepared for this, and this. Are you prepared?
Well, and so is your question more around maturity, or what is the question?
The question is more, do you find that most people who are ready to buy a home are actually ready, responsible enough, ready to buy a home?
Sure. So, I'm gonna say this, Rochelle. My first purchase, I was 22 years old, and someone had to hold my hand, and that was my uncle. So I didn't know I just thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And where am I gonna get this money from? And he showed me exactly what I needed to do. I followed his lead and did exactly what he told me to do. And I had my townhouse at 22 years old. So for me, majority of the people that come my way, some of them have experience, but some of them don't. So I get a gamut of truly beginners that don't know, to some middle of the road people, to some others that have purchased before.
Right.
Or maybe their mother or dad is in the business or in the field. Maybe the dad is a loan officer. Some people, some of my clients have experience, but nonetheless, experience or no experience, I have a job to do. So I just make sure that I'm communicating the expectation around the home buying process and making sure that they understand, and still making sure that they're ready, because sometimes they may start out really ready and then get cold feet, or they may come to me with cold feet and within 20, 30 minutes they're ready to buy by the time we finish our conversation.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we have a question from Miss Edwards.
Okay.
Are there any townhomes
Mhm.
that the bedrooms are not upstairs?
Okay, so that would be a 1 story. That would be like a flat, because most townhomes are have stairs. So here in Houston, I can't say that wouldn't be a townhome. That'd be more of a condo, where
Okay.
if that answers that question.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you help new homeowners find financing?
Oh, absolutely. All the time. Every realtor, just like a pastor has a Bible, every realtor has some lenders at his or her pocket side. So yes, I do have. I always ask my clients whether or not they already have a lender in place or in mind, and if they do, they can move forward and get me that pre-approval letter from whomever they've already reached out to. But if they
Mhm.
don't, I have referrals for them.
Okay. So, what should most buyers expect to put down as a down payment?
Okay, great question. So, total 5 to 6% of the loan amount, and so for a FHA loan, typically that's 3.5%. But to close on the loan, you're looking at another 2%, two anywhere from 2 to 3%. So that's why I always quote 5 to 6% of the sales price. So if the house is $100,000, my question would be to you when I speak with your shell on the initial phone call. I'm asking, do you already have savings? And if you say yes, I'll say, is your savings 6,000 and above or 6,000 or less? I don't ask them for an exact amount because most of the time they may not want to disclose it. Sometimes they do, but I just try to get an idea. Do they have any savings? So
Okay.
5 to 6% is the rule of thumb for whatever sales price you're looking at.
Awesome. So, in most cases, do sellers or builders help with the closing costs,
Okay.
especially in this economy? Can someone who's purchasing a home expect that?
Yes, ma'am. So here in Houston and in a few markets here in Texas, like Dallas and Austin, it's a seller's market. So they're not providing a lot of seller concessions because there's multiple offers for certain homes. But I would say if you're doing a new build or a new construction, you might, if you're working with an agent, that's where the agent is able to do some negotiating and possibly obtain some incentives for the client. So I won't say a fast no because that's not the answer, but I want you to be aware that this is a seller's market. So it's all about them getting the seller, whether the builder in your case, getting the most that they can for the home.
So, I know here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, new development is exploding. Do you
Hmm.
find that to be the same case in Houston and in Texas in general?
Yes, in Texas, yes, and in Houston, yes, and Austin. The Austin market is exceeding Dallas and Houston's market in terms of people bidding up to 100,000 over sales price and getting the homes. So it's been there. That market is extremely challenged, but in Houston, we're hanging in there. We're doing what we can with a smile.
So, I know this is like off the cuff, kind of just thinking about some of the questions I've asked you. You mentioned Houston.
Mhm.
Um, what about Texas has bad weather to start with? We either having hailstorms, floods, or something. Do you find
Where,
that it impact?
where was that? Not Texas. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you find that it impacts where a homeowner, new or any homeowner, chooses to buy?
No, even with the storm that we had with the pipe freeze, that didn't impact us. I mean, we had to take 2 to 3 weeks to make some repairs and things on certain homes, but people were still closing. Title companies were still rescheduling people to, close on the homes that they had under contract. So that has not impacted us. The hot weather, people are moving to Houston in droves from New York, from California. They are, I mean, I, it's not impacting us at all. Even when we had the flooding during Harvey, we have to make note on the listings that whether or not the home has flooded. But
Mhm.
people are buying, buying, buying. It has not impacted our overall sales.
Okay. What financial programs are out there to help homeowners
Okay,
invest?
great. So, with me not being a licensed lender, there's various programs out there. I did check to see what some of them are, but being that I'm not licensed, I can't really speak to them in detail. But there's different programs for teachers, veterans, first-time home buyers. There's a program almost for any and everything. And anyone who's interested in purchasing a home with me as their realtor, I could refer you to one of my lenders and they can go into further detail about the programs and what all they entail.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I know one of the things that most every lender is going to look at is a person's FICO score and their credit. In
Yes.
this time, what is the ideal FICO score?
Okay, ideal. I'm gonna say 640 and above. And when I say that, I'm not saying that there aren't loans that are done because there's other lenders that'll do a 580 and above. But you said ideal. So
Mhm.
ideal, typically, a lender's going to want a 640 or above. And so scores can go all the way to eight in the 800s. So anywhere above 640 would be great.
Okay. So rates are low right now. That's why people are jumping in buying homes. How long do you think those rates are going to stay that low, or do you see them starting to increase?
Well, they are increasing slowly, but I haven't. Well, I would have to check to see what the statistics are saying in terms of whether or not we can expect these rates to be this way for another year or two, or because most of the time they give us a forecast every 6 months to 9 months. But what I would tell you, especially if you were a client calling me and asking,
Mhm.
I would start the process now because for 2021, I'm not certain, when we'll start inching our way up to 4% and above. So instead of waiting for it to get there in 2022 or 2023, go ahead
Mhm.
and do what you can do now to take advantage of the rate as it is today.
Okay. So I noticed on Facebook you started some new groups. One of them is called Louisiana to Texas.
Mhm.
Why did you start that group and why is it significant?
And great question. So it's actually my second group. The first group I started was moving from California to Texas successfully. I have a client that has been in Los Angeles all their life, and they are moving here and have a home that is under construction right now, and they're in their early 50s. And so, and they're both gainfully employed and been married 30 plus years. But to make a transition like that from California to Texas, I found, well, we've always known that the last 2 to 3 years that there's been a lot of people moving from California to Texas.
Yes.
But I started that group because I wanted others to have a resource in that I like to hold their hand and help them through the entire process. And now I can be their eyes and ears while they are away in a different state. So it
Mhm.
started with that group, and then I expanded and moved to Louisiana because there's a lot of people that moved to Texas from Louisiana with Katrina back in 2010. So they're steady moving. So I did a second group, and the second group actually grew real fast within 24 hours at the rate the California group took 2 weeks to get where it is. And then the Louisiana group, they were at the same number in 24 hours. So I just put the same information in both groups and educate and share and make sure that they're aware. So I'm all about educating, inspiring, and motivating.
Mhm.
So I think that those are two groups that appreciate the information that I share in those groups.
Okay. I have a question here. The viewer is asking, what is the current rate?
Now, and being that it's a Sunday and I'm not a lender, I can't give the exact quote as of today. The market will be open tomorrow.
Okay, but do you think it's still below below 3.5?
Yes, absolutely. Last time I knew it was at
Okay.
3.125%. Mm-hmm.
So before I ask this next question, what do you want to tell our viewers about your business? Is there anything special you want them to know?
Well, I would like the viewers that are looking or that'll review the recording later to know not only am I a native Houstonian, but I know the surrounding areas as well, the country and the rural areas. I know the suburbs. I I live in Cy-Fair. I've been here, and the only time I left was to get my education at the University of Texas at Austin. So I know Austin as well. I know a lot of areas outside of Houston. I just don't want to, go down the list and then leave three out. But one of the first homes, which reminds me, one of my first homes that I sold to a lady, she was in, her son was attending UTMB in Galveston, and she wanted to buy a home for him so he and some roommates could be in that house. So one of my very first sales was in Galveston. and I'm in the city, and so I did that 9.5 years ago, and there's just not any place in Texas I won't go and that I won't find out more information about. So I am licensed in the state of Texas. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy working with my clients, and I enjoy working with their family and their friends because they always refer. So, again, if you're looking for someone to take good care of you and your family, I would like that opportunity because it is a privilege. It's not something, it's a privilege to work with you. And I would just like that opportunity to continue working with families.
Now we're about Dallas Fort Worth is 4 or 5 hours from you. If
Uh-huh.
you're not able to help someone in this area, do you find them someone that can assist them, someone in your network?
Yes, ma'am. I have alumni there that would take any client I send their way. But again, sometimes the mother in me, I will get that MLS access and I will be emailing homes to that person who wants to move, or if they want to live in Dallas. So it just depends. But yes, I have a referral source, and he's with Keller Williams. He was my roommate. He's my roommate's husband. So
Okay,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
awesome, awesome. You're gonna take care of us all around.
No matter
So,
what. Mm-hmm.
so you chose, after doing what you had to do for family and friends, you chose to go into the real estate business. What does it take to become a real estate agent?
Oh yeah, you did ask that. Okay, so well, I want to talk about finances. I don't want to talk so much about a referral or a networking source because once you pass the test, it's really, I think it's a lot of things. Well, I think your most successful agents are the ones that are open and willing to learn, the
Mhm,
ones who are not afraid to sell a $500,000 house or sell a $80,000 home, someone who's hungry and thirsty. And then
mhm.
from a financial standpoint, yes, you do need some finances because you need to pay MLS dues. You need to be able to pay annual dues. There's a lot of fees that are associated with the real estate business when you're under a broker. And when you're just closing a lot of transactions, there are fees. And so, for another example, people tend not to think about the gas expense,
Mhm.
the number of tolls, just the travel, the maintenance that needs to be done on the vehicle. There's a lot of things that financially you need to be prepared for. So now I'm not discouraging anyone who may not have the finances not to be a realtor. I'm just sharing with you on this recorded line that finances are going to play a part in it. And then, secondly, with any business owner, your first 2 to 5 years, if you're going to be successful, it's going to be within 5 years. If you're not, and some realtors don't make it past 1 year, but overall, you need to be have tenacity. You need to be open. You need to be willing to learn. You need to have be professional. You need to be able to communicate in orally and in writing. I'm sorry, you need to be able to communicate oral and written, is what I'm trying to say, and do it well, especially because a lot of things are communicated via email as a realtor. And if you don't know how to spell, I'm sorry, either use a spell check. And if you don't know how to use that, then we need to talk offline. So there's a lot of things that kind of matter in terms of behavior and how you conduct yourself and how you conduct transactions, integrity. I can go on and on, but there's some fundamental things that really matter. So with me having a banking background, this was an easy transition for me.
Okay, what about personality? I would feel in your field, that's a big one.
Well, now what you'll find, there's, of course, I'm type A. I can talk to anybody, anyone, just if they have a pulse. We have a conversation. But some of your best agents are shy, but they really know how to work the internet. They really know how to utilize their social media. So no, you do not have to be type A personality to have great sales and a great client base. You can. You can you can be withdrawn, a little more introverted and all, and still do very well. I've seen several of them. I've seen some of them.
So do you find that most agents or realtors, they start out part-time and work their way into letting go of their full-time job to make this their living?
I think majority probably do a full time because some see the glam and think, oh, I'm going to go do that. Let me get my license. And so they jump in with both feet.
Hmm.
A few that are a little conservative and I'm gonna check this out. They do the part time and let it, and then go full time later. So you have, a myriad of both. But there's a lot of full timers. As soon as they get that license, they're out there doing it full time. And
Okay.
if you do that, I definitely encourage it. But either if you're single, you need to have some savings to be able to support that. And if you're married, your husband needs to be able to sustain the household while that learning curve is in front of you. Because it's going to take about 4 to 6 months, not necessarily to learn the business, but to just understand and get a real good idea of how to generate business, how to show homes, how to complete contracts. There's a lot involved. So you want to have that cushion or that backup.
So for this past year,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's been under a lot of strain for COVID. Did
Mm-hmm.
it affect people going out showing houses as much, or
Mm.
did busy just keep rolling?
It only impacted this economy from March 2020 to May 2020. Those buyers, as soon as that lift was up and agents could show, they were out there. They were out there even when agents weren't. The buyers were out they were out there going to a lot of uh, model homes. They were in and out a lot of model home communities. They were out there trying to either get homes built or for resale, they need an agent. But the ones that they can get out there and just go visit those builders directly, they were going in there to those model homes. Yes.
So we haven't addressed sellers that much. What advice or how would you
How many
sell?
minutes do we have?
Oh, don't worry about it. We got a
Okay.
few
All
minutes.
right.
So, sellers. Someone
Mhm.
wants to sell their home. What is the most
Yes.
important thing they need to do to make sure they can sell their home?
Okay. Sellers need to contact an agent and allow the agent to assess the home so that they can provide CMA, which is comparative market analysis, to tell them what their home is valued at this present time.
Okay.
And then if I'm suggesting 290, but they think their home's 310, then I have to show them the why. So the first thing is one, obtaining what the home is really valued at and what it's worth. And then
Mhm.
secondly, if there's any upgrades that need to be done or any painting that needs to be done or just small things to enhance the home before it's listed, we discuss that as well. So basically, they need that consultation.
What about decluttering? I know when I was looking for homes
That's
and
during
I
the
was going some house,
consultation.
yeah, I would go to some house and I'm a neat freak. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do it. I can't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then sometimes you have sellers that want their house so perfect that, you have to really nudge them and push them through the process to tell them, we're ready. We're ready.
Mhm.
So it's sellers are great. They need some hand holding too. So sellers are the reason why the market moves. If we don't have anything to sell, we don't have buyers to help.
That's right. That's right. So, Autumn, it has been a pleasure talking with you and speaking with you. I'm going to see real quick we have any more questions. No more questions from our viewers. Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to contact Autumn and speak to her, here is her contact information. Autumn, you can talk about anything on the screen as far as your contact.
Okay, so I'm on Facebook. I have a personal page and a business page. My business page is at Autumn Osborne, Houston Realtor. And then my personal page, you could just look me up at Autumn Simon Osborne. I'd like for you to look me up on either site so that I can direct you to my private group as well. I'm on Instagram at autumn.houstonrealtor.osborne. Little TikTok, the Houston Realtor Autumn O. I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is the Houston Realtor Autumn Osborne. And then you can find me on LinkedIn as well under Autumn Osborne. And then you can visit my website, www.har.com/Autumn S. Osborne. You can also contact me directly at 832-287-5967. Or if you prefer, you can send me an email, autumn.s like Simon autumn.s.osborne@gmail.com. autumn.s.osborne@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I hope that I have provided some valuable information for you on today. If you have additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly.
Thank you so much, Autumn. So everyone, that's it for us today. On the 9th, next Sunday, we will not have a live. It's Mother's Day. I wish all of you a fantastic, who are mothers or those who are not, those who raise children. I wish you a fantastic Mother's Day. We'll be back on the 16th with another great guest. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Have a good
All right.
evening. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.